has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast, in the biggest way possible. Hanging out, the bad seat, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh, people just in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fucking jagged up to do that. Along with the Tutty and Tater King, the founder of the ILC podcast, the rights holder of the Sheet of Integrity, and put it with the golf. It's a Put It With the Golf Wednesday. On C2C, it's all evolving the lineup. Of course, with Mavia running it and Hugayam Yopada, we've got a double shot with Morency. That's this hour from Vancouver. Second hour, we got the Prime Minister, Cam Stewart, live in Toronto. And in the final hour, a double shot with Stewie. Keith Stewart from Read the Line with Carver High today. It's all happening like you read about. And we've got the divisional round this week. We'll talk about everything to do with that. Count on that. But I want to say this first. I was talking to Luke before the show. And I got to tell you, Mike, I think that this wait for the national championship game in college football is ridiculous. I think they played that Thursday, Friday night. It was okay to play Thursday and Friday night with everybody on their televisions. But then they wait until Monday the 20th, Martin Luther King Day, the inauguration day, to have the national championship game. Do you realize the divisional round of the NFL playoffs will be done, and they still won't have played the college football championship game? They are covering this game every day. I see Ryan day to day doing interviews, and then I'm sure tomorrow I'm going to see, Freeman and the Irish, and the next day they'll do both of them. Like, this has just gone on for far too long. There is nothing worse than a 2-week wait for the Super Bowl, except this. No college football game on earth should take this long to play since they played the semifinals. They dragged this thing out worse than anything I've ever seen in sports. Now, I know Monday I'll have nothing better to do than watch it. Fair enough. But waiting for it is my problem. I mean, you got to be kidding me. How much time off do they need before they play this game? I forgot who was playing. Literally, that's how long we're waiting for Notre Dame and Ohio State. And I got to tell you, I think it ruins the game because of they haven't played. They're going through these dry run, weak ass practices, talking about each other. Like, this is ruined. That college football playoff has been ruined by this. Waiting this long for a game is just ridiculous. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I know that this is obviously the first time that they've done the 12 team. So I think that there's a lot of lessons that they have to learn from how all of this went down. I think waiting as long as they are to play the last game is going to be hopefully one of the things that they learn, because I think that they're hurting themselves on several levels. I think they could be hurting themselves in terms of how long the two teams are going to be sitting around.
Right.
I think they're hurting themselves in the aspect of people talking about the game. I think that you had so much juice last Thursday and Friday with those two games, and they were good, that to now play a full weekend of NFL playoffs and then another full weekend of NFL playoffs before you even play the next game, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think they should have played Friday night.
Tomorrow night, Friday night, whatever.
I think Friday would have been one full week for Ohio State, who won that game.
Right.
Notre Dame played one full week the week before. I think that Friday night before the NFL divisional weekend, because they would have had the juice ahead of the NFL. Like, that would have been the big start to the weekend. Friday night, national championship game, heading into 4 NFL games like they did last week. They had juice last week. Thursday night, Friday night, into the weekend. They were first. Now they're last.
Right.
And people are just, the casual fan, I think, will be, they're going to forget about it, is kind of where I'm getting. You're right.
Here's a
Me
couple
and you,
things.
We're going to be there Monday night no matter what. But I think it's other people that you're losing.
Well, look, here's a couple things. One, I've heard two things. One was I heard a guy today playing ball 5:45 in the morning. He goes, "Oh, I hate this time of year when all there is college basketball and the NBA." And I'm like, I said to this guy, I go, "Bro, the divisional semis are this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Like, are you kidding?" And then a title week next week, and then 2 weeks later the Super Bowl, which I hate the 2-week wait. And then he said, I don't care. He goes, winter sucks. College basketball, pro basketball suck. And I'm like, okay. And then I talked to a guy today who said to me that he thinks Ryan Day will choke in the national championship game and Notre Dame will beat them outright. And I was like, okay, I can live with that. I would love to see that. He thinks that Day is a piker in big games. I'd say, I don't agree with that. I think he's won some big games. I think because he lost to Michigan, people have hung their hat on that. But I don't think that's far-fetched. That losing to Michigan, to me, is something that can happen every year. Ohio State either wins it, Michigan wins it. One of them wins it, obviously. Duh. But losing to them, to me, is not like that big of a deal. It is to them, but to me, it's like, why can't Michigan beat Ohio State? It's the biggest rivalry in college football. And sometimes you get punched right in the mouth by your rival. It happens all the time in college football. There's 50 rivalries, and teams win rivalry games, right? It happens all the time. Now, Ohio State loses, Day's lost 4 times to this team. He can't get over that. And so people think he's a piker. Do you think he's going to choke on Monday night against Notre Dame? Notre Dame's not as good as Ohio State. They aren't.
They're not. It would be a big upset. I hope he does. I hope he does. But I think it's going to take a massive effort from the Irish to pull this off. Now, I've got this thing. I've been holding it for a few days. I'll pull it out for you now. This is the 6th biggest spread in a national title game since 2000 or something like that. So it's 8.5, which is the 6th largest. Now, the 5 in front of it.
I got it at 9.5.
Yeah, it's now the 9.5 too. So the 5 in front of it, 3 of the games were complete blowouts. The team that was favored big won by like 30 plus. And then the other 2 games, the dog won outright, which was Miami over Ohio State over Miami. You don't like talking about that game in 2002 because that game was fixed.
It was fixed.
And Oklahoma over Florida State in 2000. Other than that, all the other big spreads have been absolute awful games where the team won by 30 plus.
I don't think that's going to happen. Dame. They're not getting
Notre Dame. I honestly think Notre Dame can play them the similar way that Texas did last week. In terms of, I think Notre Dame's defense can do the same things that Texas did against Ohio State. I think their defense is good enough to do that. I'm worried, though, like Texas had problems scoring in that game, I'd be worried that Notre Dame is going to have problems scoring against Ohio State. That would be the thing to me. And I could see it falling in that same, 28-14 type of run.
Ever. I will not have it.
You know who I'm rooting for.
Irish.
I want the Irish. And maybe they got a little magic carpet ride here, and the Irish are going to get it done. I sure hope so, but I can't wait for Monday night. It is taking too long. Your original point is well taken. Play the game. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we waiting so long to play the game? It's just absolute nonsense.
It's awful.
It's too much. It's awful. We'll do all the games for this weekend. I got a ton of NBA tonight. I got a ton of college rack tonight. The games from last night were crazy. Florida lost to Mizzou. There was a bunch of other great games in college. And it's a golf Wednesday, as you said. The Amex La Quinta. Let's go.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
You can catch Sports Rage weeknights at 10 along all of our outlets on TV and radio at SportsGrid, SportsGrid Radio. It's badass. But we get Morency for a double shot every day, just like we ordered up from Vancouver, British Columbia. I want to start with this today, Gabe. I watched the Canucks last night get throttled 6-1 in Winnipeg. And then I actually watched the Penguins bend over and take it again, and that took us 2-5-3 in their last 10. And Vancouver 3-4-3 in their last 10. Obviously, I think that Vancouver is 5 games over 500, and I think the Penguins are 2 games under 500. But I actually kind of think they both suck. I think Vancouver's better than Pittsburgh for sure. But when I watch you lose 6-1, and I watch a team lose 4-2, and they lose every game. They had the worst homestand I've ever seen. I mean, I was going to go Saturday and Sunday to the games instead because I had the Steeler weekend planned, and it got ruined. So I was going to go to that Senators and Tampa back-to-back afternoon games. They lost. They gave up 10 goals, lost both of them. Then they lose to the smoke Kraken. What is wrong with these teams in the NHL now, like your Canucks and the Penguins?
Well, the Canucks. I'll start off with the Canucks. The Canucks, number one, they're not as good as they were last year. I think the Canucks kind of overachieved a little bit last year. I'm not into like these expected goals and some of these modern stats, Scott. I think we'll probably agree on this. Some of this stuff is just over the top, right? But if you want to get into it, I saw like a breakdown of the Vancouver Canucks. Like they're supposed to score like 3.9 goals a game. That's what they're projected to score. And they're kind of scoring, 3.5 or whatever. Long story short, they kind of exceeded expectations. They played above their head last year. They're not the same team, Scott. The thing with the Canucks, though, they were in a bad spot last night, just point blank. So I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I'm not telling you. I just told you they're not as good as they were last year. There's talk of a trade coming up with JT Miller. There was a little bit of a locker room drama with the Canucks. It's been blown way out of proportion by the hockey media because that's what they do. But ultimately, Scott, they were in a bad spot. Look, the Canucks were in Toronto on Saturday night. They were in Carolina. They were in Washington. it was the back end of a road trip. I tweeted out before the game last night, this is a bad spot for the Vancouver Canucks. Now, they got lit up and they got humiliated. The Jets, but the Jets are really good. The Canucks will be fine, Scott. They're a playoff team. They're going to tweak some things as we go right now. They're going to be getting back home. Like I said, they've been on the road for a while. Now they host the Kings. They got the Oilers coming to town. They got the Sabres. So it's a big homestand coming up for the Canucks. As far as the Penguins are concerned, well, I was just tweeting about this yesterday, Scott. And for the record, they got rid of your boy Tristan Jarry today.
He ain't my boy.
Yeah, so they just...
He's awful.
They
released
Suez
Canal. That guy leaks so much.
They placed him on waivers, but I was talking about Crosby. Basically yesterday, Scott, I started talking about Connor Bedard. Now, I don't know if you saw the Connor Bedard, his comments after they lost to the Flames the other night. Like, the kid's beaten down, bro. Like, he's beaten down. Like, he's just worn out. He's sitting there. They're like, what went wrong? He's like, I don't know. Nobody knows where they are. When they're supposed to be where the puck is, we're not. Like, he's just mumbling to himself, and he's a kid. And you can tell he's not used to losing like this all the time.
Right.
So I kidded. I said, only 5 more years till he's a Vancouver Canuck, Connor Bedard, because he is from Vancouver. He's a big Canuck fan. But I was kidding about it, really. And, Scott, basically your boy, look, Sidney Crosby came into the league pretty much at the exact same time as LeBron James, right? Might have even been the same damn year type of thing.
Right, it's about right.
Yeah. How many teams has Sidney Crosby been on in his career? One. How many teams LeBron been on in his career? I don't know. You know what I mean? The
3.
Heat, the Cavs, Lakers, Cavs. Well, you know what I mean? Like back and forth these teams. So I was going, hockey guys don't quit on their team, Scott. Let me ask you, you're the Penguin fan. If you were Sidney Crosby, would you just end your career with the Penguins like this? Because you're never winning a Stanley Cup again. And, they can't win with this team, Scott. Like, the Penguins aren't close. It's hard to climb the ladder in the NHL.
Without a doubt.
What I mean? So, like, if you're Crosby, wouldn't you just say, you know what, guys? I gave you everything that I got. I want to end my career. I'm going to go play with the Colorado Avalanche and my boy Nate McKinnon. His best friend's Nate McKinnon. But he doesn't. They don't do that in the NHL. They just bite the bullet and suck it up.
I think he's in really a real sense in awe of Mario since day one. He lived with him as a kid at 18, and I think I'm friends with Mario, and I saw him a few months ago, and we talked for a while, and I was like, the kid is just like you. He wants to be you. He wants to pass your records. He lived with you. He wants to finish his career as a Penguin, because I actually believe that he's satisfied, frankly, with 3 rings and a gold medal with Canada, and the fact that he can go again to the Olympics next year and go for more, I don't think he cares anymore. He understands what his place is, and I think that he's won so much and been so magnificent in Pittsburgh. I think he's okay with finishing. I don't think he likes losing, but he's still a badass player, and they are awful. I mean, they're so awful. I watched last night. I was like, oh, my God, I can't even take it. They remind me of the 80s Penguins. When I was growing up, they sucked monkey onions every year. My whole life, they sucked. They would lose to the Islanders or the Capitals in the playoffs. It was like a rotating failure. And then now, I think they've reverted back to that. After all their glory, they've gone back to the 80s.
I think you're right about that, in the sense that about the Olympics. I think the Olympics save this. Like, it changes things a little bit. It's a big-time deal, the Olympics, to people, right? And in the hockey world, it's really big, right? Yeah. You can say it's big in the NBA, whatever, but hockey, it's even more so. Like, they're really, really into this, almost like that soccer level of pride. So as you stated, Scott, he still has something competitive to look forward to. Right? He's got the Four Nations face-off coming up as a precursor to the Olympics, and then sort of a champion. Very similar to King Henrik, right, with the New York Rangers. Yeah, he didn't get the Stanley Cup. Ask him about that gold medal he got. Yeah, ask him about the gold medal.
Yeah,
and see,
that's all he cares about.
Exactly. He goes, yeah, I didn't win the Cup. Carey Price, same thing, Scott. Carey Price, the Hall of Fame goalie. Never won a Stanley Cup, but won that gold medal.
We'll come back with another one with Morency.
talk about it failing. And always putting the square peg into the round hole. We're going to run it. We're going to try and play these lower scoring games. They didn't score over 17 points in the 5 straight losses.
There's a chance for the Ravens to exercise every single demon on their way to a Super Bowl. But it also means the path is very difficult and things are only getting started.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Jimmy Butler wants to leave because Jimmy Butler knows that Riles isn't going to pay him, and he wants to get paid. Simply put, if they would have given Jimmy Butler this contract extension in the summer when he asked, this wouldn't be happening. But Riles did it, and Riles wanted him to play. So now he's disgruntled because he wants out.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
I want to do something different with Morency here today because, we still got Thursday and Friday to get down on the divisional semis again. We've already argued about it. We've already talked about it. We've already broken it down, and I want to do it again, obviously, Thursday and Friday. So maybe Thursday we'll do the Saturday games. Friday we'll do the Sunday games. But today I want to ask you about the Hall of Fame, the baseball, the 28 guys that are on that finalist list. I have to be perfectly honest with you. I'm just going to come right out with it. And I know this sounds biased, but for me, I actually thought that Pettit and Sabathia I would put in, and then I agreed that Suzuki, Ichiro will get in. But I had a real problem, Gabe, with everyone else. I really did. I mean, I had a real problem with all these people that are putting these guys in left and right. Like, I'm looking at a guy's ballot right now. He's got Bobby Abreu, Carlos Beltran, Felix Hernandez, Andrew Jones, Manny Ramirez, A-Rod, Sabathia Suzuki, Chase Utley, and Billy Wagner all getting in. Christ, who didn't he let in, this guy? I won't tell you his name, but it's embarrassing. You cannot let that many guys into the Hall of Fame. Like, it's become so watered down, that hall. It doesn't even matter. It's like the Hall of Fame in the NFL. It's the Hall of Very Good.
Scott, years ago, the first World Baseball Classic that ever happened, it was in Toronto. And it was the old days when you and I used to do shows in the old, in the old network days and stuff when we did those big parties.
Right.
So we got lit up, Scott. We went down to the parties. We went down to the Rogers Center right down the street, the Sky Dome. Hey! Canada, USA. Canada beat U.S. in the baseball game.
Yeah.
And where I'm going with this is later in the day, there was a big UFC event. So I went out to this big sports bar, and who was there? Team USA. Shane Victorino, Curtis Granderson, etc. Big UFC fans. And where I'm going with this guy, Curtis Granderson, one of the coolest athletes I ever met. Like, the guy was super cool.
Right.
Dude, he's on this list. Come on, what are we doing here? Like, Curtis Granderson in the Hall of Fame?
Come
I'm
on.
not saying he's getting in, but, like, just because you played in the big leagues and you were good doesn't mean you should even be on the ballot, Scott. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've said this for years, bro. It's like they need to put people in. They need to have this ceremony every year. Sometimes there isn't. Right? You know what I mean? I hate to break it to you, but this long list, and I've seen all this, guys. Me and Scott have been watching baseball since the 70s. Hell, I hate to say it. I want to be the hard ass. Dave Parker, one of my favorite players of all time. All right? Love Dave Parker. Like on that We Are Family Pirate team, he was my guy. I love the outfielders. Same with Ellis Valentine in Montreal. I saw him and Valentine used to both be like cokehead buddies. They'd do a rail before the game, and they'd have contests in the outfield guys before the game. They'd like, yeah, I'm going to all right, no hop from the warning track. Let's go. Like, and everyone in the old days, it wasn't like batting practice. People would go to watch these guys throw the ball and just have fun with it. He's not a Hall of Famer, Scott.
Yeah.
Dave Parker's not a Hall of Famer. Like, growing up, one of the coolest players. I'm like, guys, same with Dusty Baker. It's like, yeah, they're cool, they're good. You want to put everybody in. I get it. It was the committee. And I'm on the fence, Scott. And you know what it's like. When you talk about, like, the Hall of Fame, it's supposed to be automatic. It's supposed to be, yeah, that's a Hall of Famer. No, that's not. Like, and I look at all these names, and I'm like, no. Billy Wagner, I'd say yes, all right? It's sort of like punters, where you want to screw over the closers. He was one of the best closers. He was dominant for a decade. I don't have a problem with the Billy Wagners. Chase Utley, not a Hall of Famer to me, Scott.
No way.
Andy Pettit, not a Hall of Famer.
I thought he was a big game World Series pitcher. Big game pitchers deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. He won a lot of rings and got it done.
I don't dispute it.
Numerous times. Regular season, I'd say no. Postseason gets him in for me. If you're a winner and all you do is win and you're clutch in the World Series multiple times, that gets you into that hall.
Yeah. You know what, though? Why is it that, and this is just a legitimate question, why is it that? Is it because he admitted it? Right? But Clemens isn't getting that in?
I forgot about that. I really did. I was basing it on. I forgot. I was basing it on
I'm just being real, Scott. I know. But he admitted it. He said, I'm sorry I made a mistake. I took some stuff I shouldn't have. I was just, I was trying to whatever. So what, it's fine for him? But, if, Clemens, come on. How the hell is Roger Clemens not in the Hall of Fame?
I agree with you. Fair enough.
I'm going to go down that road.
And give me Sabathia and Suzuki. That's it.
Suzuki, no-brainer. But what about the future, Scott? There's going to be some badass classes in the future. Will there be no debates? Like all these guys that are playing now, we're watching a lot of great baseball players.
So I found a ball today that I have, a Pete Rose ball, and I actually said to my son, I go, I think it's actually worth something now that he's dead.
Well, he cites so many of them.
Well, you might be right.
Talk about it failing and always putting the square peg into the round hole. We're going to run it. We're going to try and play these lower scoring games. They didn't score over 17 points in the 5 straight losses.
There's a chance for the Ravens to exercise every single demon on their way to a Super Bowl. But it also means the path is very difficult and things are only getting started.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Jimmy Butler wants to leave because Jimmy Butler knows that Riles isn't going to pay him, and he wants to get paid. Simply put, if they would have given Jimmy Butler this contract extension in the summer when he asked, this wouldn't be happening. But Riles did it, and Riles wanted him to play. So now he's disgruntled because he wants out.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Carver High, I want to know if you have the stones to bet on that Texans defense against the Kansas City Chiefs, considering the fact that they never cover. They finally covered on Christmas Day against the Steelers, but that was just about it, right? They didn't cover any games. That was the game they covered, the Steelers. They kicked their ass. But everyone's saying that the Texans defense, in all, like every great quarterback this year against them, struggled.
Yeah, look, if you can guarantee me that I'm going to get the type of performance out of Will Anderson and that front line of theirs like they had last Saturday against Justin Herbert, I think you could talk me into it, of taking all the points with them. If they're going to consistently get pressure and maybe knock Mahomes around a little bit, which is the key to beating all the great quarterbacks. And Mahomes is just like anything. That was the key to beating Brady, Montana, etc. You knock them around and hit them, that's where the game changes. And Will Anderson was a monster last week against Herbert and the Chargers. So he going to show up and do that this week? Might be able to talk me into it. Now, Mahomes, of course, was he was watching very closely that game that Houston played against Los Angeles, and he was very impressed with what they were doing as well.
What do you see from the Texans in that win against the Chargers?
Yeah, I think what everybody's kind of known. I mean, that defense is extremely real. They have a great quarterback and a great coach, and we knew when we played in this last time it was a hard-fought game, and they get after the quarterback really well. They have really good secondary players, and the linebackers fly around. So it'll be a great challenge for us, and we'll have to play our best football.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I know that 8.5 points with a great pass rush and a good secondary is the potential. Like, I think some of the bets, like, if I'm just going to watch the Kansas City Chiefs roll the Texans on Saturday, I'm not interested. I'm going to turn it off because I got to tell you, I hate their guts. And if I'm going to sit there and watch them mow them down and kill them, because, in the divisional round, he's got 13 touchdowns, no picks, this guy Mahomes. That's his track record. But what I want to see is, and I want to live on, is to have the onions to bet on the Texans at 8.5 and watch them run wild like Hulk Hogan on the Mahomes and Chiefs offense. And I would love nothing more. I'm not even kidding you when I say this, to see them take his head off. Like, I will if they knock his head off, I will jump up and down, and I will literally go to the liquor store and buy a keg. In the middle of the game, I will leave and I don't drink beer. I will go drink a keg of beer if they take his head off. Like, I want to see him down on the ground, writhing in pain. I'm not kidding. I have watched football my whole life. Steelers did it in the 70s. The Bears did it in 85. Kill the quarterback. I am all for it. I am not, Sister Christian over here. Like,
he just had a baby girl. God bless him and his wife. I love him so much. I want to see him in another Super Bowl.
I am not that guy. I want to see them go down like a mother Ferraller. I mean, you have no idea how much I want the Texans to hurt him. I'm not kidding at all. There's only one way to win the game. Put him down.
That is the only way to do it. Is you have to, you got to take Mahomes out. I mean, that's and even when that's happened in the past, he still comes back. And he beats you. Even when guys take him out, he always finds himself back in the game. Do you have the
to bet on the Texans with me? Are you going to do it or not?
Oh, I can be talked into that by Saturday. I can be talked into betting the Texans. Now, Kansas City was under 500. I think 7-9 and 1 against the spread this year. So they were under 500 against the spread. They don't cover a lot of big numbers, so I can get in, but I need Will Anderson. He's the guy. He's a monster up there for Houston. I want to see the same effort. Here's another thing that I think does factor in a little bit, at least maybe early in this game. Mahomes and several other guys on the team will have 23 full days of rest before Saturday's game. 23 full days. They haven't played since Christmas Day. Mahomes, Kelsey, and a few of the other starters, Chris Jones, etc. So that could be something to factor in. But they're the Chiefs. They're the best, so I'm sure they could just show up and roll the ball out and be good. Mahomes has reached at least the AFC title game in every season that he's been the starting quarterback.
Sick of it.
Of the Kansas City Chiefs. You and me both. Sick of it would be. In fact, you can go a little bit further. either Kansas City or New England have been in every AFC title game since 2011. So you've had to deal with one of those.
It's 25.
Yes. So you're talking 14 years of either one of those two teams being in the last AFC game, the AFC Championship.
So really, to me, it's the 24 season, and it's, turned into 25. I get it. But to me, it's been since 2011 to 2024 into the Super Bowl playoff season, which goes February 9th in New Orleans. We'll be there, SportsGrid, setting the standard as usual. But every year since 2011 through the 24-25 season, which is what this is, that is embarrassing. That is so awful.
Yes.
It's embarrassing. The Patriots or the Chiefs have been in every single title game. I am sick and effing tired of it. Like, you have no idea. Like, what was the last one? It was Pittsburgh in 2011, right?
Yeah.
That was when the Steelers lost to the Packers, right? That's that.
Well, you got to remember, we're just going back with the Mahomes-Brady thing. Like, if you take it 10 years further than that, wasn't it always either Manning, Brady, or Roethlisberger? One of those three was in it for like 10 or 12 years straight before that. So,
it just shows you that it's all about quarterbacks. By the way, Carver High running for the presidency of the Marlins today with that fresh black shirt and that teal tie.
Yes.
That's a Marlins look right there. He might be replacing Kim Ng.
That 2010 game, by the way, which didn't have the Patriots or the Chiefs, was Steelers-Jets, as you mentioned. The Steelers beating the Jets.
Mark Franchise.
Yes, and the Jets have made it 2 years in a row.
Party at my house. He hated my guts that day. I had a party. Were you there at Carver High that day? I don't think so. I didn't know you then.
No, that was before.
Carver High had no plans to be involved with us at that point. He was still dealing with the schmoozer.
Yes, I was. Patrick Mahomes against the spread in the NFL playoffs as a favorite of 6 or more points. Only 3-3 against the number. All the other games, he's 10-2 against the spread. So close spread, 10-2, 6 or more, 3-3, which is what we'll have this week. Let's make it 3-4.
Let's go. Give me the points.
Let's make it. Of course, you'll have C.J. Stroud on the other side. Stroud, second year in a row, he's in the divisional round as one of the final 4 AFC quarterbacks. He's looking forward to it.
Yeah, I definitely looked up to a lot of guys growing up, and watched these type of games growing up. And, I remember watching Houston play in Kansas City some years back and went up early, and they ended up coming back, So, and I'm not saying that's how it's going to go, but I remember watching that one. I remember watching all the AFC championships with Burrow and Mahomes, and watched the one with Josh Allen and Mahomes, all those great games. So
shows how young he is.
I've always wanted to be in these type of moments, which is amazing. I'm able to do it in year 2 again, So I'm definitely not taking it for granted, and definitely, going to try to earn my op and, try to run with it.
So I'd say my life started in the NFL in 1970. I'd say 1970 was so after Namath into the Steelers. Into the Steelers 4 and 6 years is when I started becoming, obsessed with the Steelers as a kid. And then I followed him my entire life. So his youth shows to me right there. And fair enough, everyone's young. Some people are old. I'm old and fat. Bottom line is I've been watching the league forever. And I go way back to 1970 when I started. At 4 years old, I didn't know Joe Namath. I didn't care that he was at the pool, winning the Super Bowl, getting chicks. But when I started watching the Joe Green and the Pittsburgh Steelers, forget about it.
Talk about it failing and always putting the square peg into the round hole. We're going to run it. We're going to try and play these lower scoring games. They didn't score over 17 points in the 5 straight losses.
There's a chance for the Ravens to exercise every single demon on their way to a Super Bowl. But it also means the path is very difficult and things are only getting started.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Jimmy Butler wants to leave because Jimmy Butler knows that Riles isn't going to pay him, and he wants to get paid. Simply put, if they would have given Jimmy Butler this contract extension in the summer when he asked, this wouldn't be happening. But Riles did it, and Riles wanted him to play. So now he's disgruntled because he wants out.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
So, Carver, I just told you, in the 75, I went to the Super Bowl with my dad and watched the Steelers beat the Vikings outdoors in the, Tulane Stadium in New Orleans, where the Super Bowl is this year at the Superdome. The next year, I went to see them beat them at the Orange Bowl in Miami. They beat the Cowboys 21-17. In 79, I saw them beat the Cowboys. And then in 80, I saw them beat the Rams. I went to 4 Super Bowls. 2 of them by the time I was 11 years old, and they won back-to-back twice when I went. Then I saw the Penguins win back-to-back twice, and I saw the Pirates beat, I was 6 years old, I saw them beat the Orioles in 71. Then the next time I went to the World Series was 1979 when they did it again to the Orioles in Baltimore in Game 7 with Willie Stargell and Bill Robinson. Can't imagine those litany of games in succession, how they were back-to-back and the same teams and, you know, the hockey back-to-back, and it's just crazy. And the fact that I had been to 2 Super Bowls by the time I was 11 years old, really, when you think of it, in my life, it blows my mind.
Yeah, when I was 11, I watched Norwood miss a field goal in the Super Bowl. So that's what I did when I was 11 years old. I wasn't there either. 8.5 for this Saturday, as we mentioned, and 41.5 for the total in this game. Weather's supposed to be, by the way, I was looking in a lot of the weather last night. Weather's supposed to be real nice for mid-January. I mean, like mid to high 40s, 50, not a lot, not that cold,
that's
no precipitation. That's good Kansas City weather in the middle of January. So they're not going to have any problems there.
So to me, that's advantage Houston. They're used to playing indoors, and they're not used to playing in, 5-degree weather at Arrowhead in, late January in a playoff game, which is what it should be. So this to me is an advantage to them, and they're getting 8.5. I like the under and the Texans.
Yeah, going to be a lot different than, Buffalo's going to be about 5 on Sunday night. Be about 5 degrees for the Bills and the Ravens in that game, which we'll get to in a little bit. Saturday night, of course, we will have Washington and Detroit. Of course, Washington, they are the upstart team, little magic carpet ride. They won 5 games this year in the final second, as in when time was expiring.
Under 10 seconds.
So under 10 seconds left. Washington has won 5 games. Here is Dan Quinn on playing so many games down to the wire.
No, it's awesome. It's like the best part of coaching because it's like right with everything on the line, and it's my most favorite part of it all. Like being like 10 toes down with guys that you really love and care about. Like it's the best, and so doing that kind of hard with really good people, like that's honestly as fun as it gets. And so they don't always work out in your favor, but just being in that arena and that type of competitive, man, like you cannot feel more alive than in that spot. When the anticipation and the competitiveness is that high, it's really cool.
Advantage Washington again. 6 games in under 10 seconds or overtime that they won. They're the Cardiac Kids. I like them with a 9.5 burger. They're like saying right now, the Vegas sportsbooks are saying that the Detroit Lions are unstoppable and they are going to kick their ass. I don't believe that for 1 minute. I really don't. Not with that guy, Jaden Daniels. In fact, I think Goff's good. I think Jaden Daniels is way more exciting than Goff.
Yeah, Goff's been there a couple years now, and this year he knows the expectations. The Lions are the 1 seed. They've had the bye. They're the favorites. All of those things are very much known by the Detroit quarterback and his team.
I don't know. Yeah, I think I guess yes, because I don't recognize it much as anything different. We came into this year ready for games like this, ready for games like last week. Ready for these big time games, and wanted to have everything run through Detroit. And now we've got our opportunity to do that, and it's right here in front of us, and we got to go take advantage of it.
To that point, this team was on this stage last year, making it to the NFC Championship game. How different is the vibe going into it this time?
Nobody wears plaid. Plaid hat's got to go.
It's somewhat similar, somewhat different. A lot of the same players, a lot of guys that understand the moment. I think the biggest difference is having the week off and being rested, and knowing if we win, we get another one at home, and that's a good reward.
Okay, great. My buddy's going to the game. I hope that. Look, I still feel like it should be, Detroit Lions and Eagles in the NFC title game. But I'm here to, ruin all that. I want to see chaos. I want to see Mahomes on his back. I want to see Daniels beat Goff. And then we'll discuss Sunday. Okay? So I already know. We've already said yesterday we want the Rams to beat the Eagles. My buddy's an Eagle fan. I hate him too. And then I've actually told you I hope Buffalo goes to the Super Bowl. So I hate the Ravens dead. Anyone that likes the Ravens, I don't like you as a person, as a family. I hate you. If you lived on my street and you're a Raven fan, I would, honestly, I might spray paint your garage door. Honestly, I hate you. I hate anyone. I have friends that are Ravens fans. I hate them too. Hate them all. In this time of the year, I just hate you. So I'll hate you forever.
Yeah, I'll get into that. It's gotten very chippy online on social media between Ravens and Bills fans this week.
The Bills fans are bullies. They really are. They're the mafia. They know who they are. They're drunks. They jump on tables. They get hammered. But listen, there's nothing worse than that Eagle fan I saw. By the way, he's lost his entire life. That guy, he lost his job. He's banned for life. He will that guy's going to have to move to start over somewhere far in the Northwest, in Pacific Northwest. He's going to have to move to literally just at the tip of Washington, in the corner of Washington, and never come back. He will never get a job again in Philadelphia. His life is ruined. His name is ruined. His family, his daughter is embarrassed that he is her father.
Did you see now, there's people in Philly, going after the guy who took the video, saying, well, why were you taking video? Why'd you have a camera on your chest? Why were you trying to, we understand that what he did is wrong, but what about this guy over here?
He's a loser, too.
Talk about it failing and always putting the square peg into the round hole. We're going to run it. We're going to try and play these lower scoring games. They didn't score over 17 points in the 5 straight losses.
There's a chance for the Ravens to exercise every single demon on their way to a Super Bowl, but it also means the path is very difficult and things are only getting started.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Jimmy Butler wants to leave because Jimmy Butler knows that Riles isn't going to pay him, and he wants to get paid. Simply put, if they would have given Jimmy Butler this contract extension in the summer when he asked, this wouldn't be happening. But Riles did it, and Riles wanted him to play. So now he's disgruntled because he wants out.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, and I think it's because we cover the NFL like no other. As we continue to talk about the divisional series, Washington and Detroit. Now, we've looked at the number at 9.5. I don't know, the total's outrageous, the highest total ever. And then I know the ticket prices are the highest ever as well, Mike.
Yeah, that total's still checking in at 55.5 on Saturday
No
night
way.
for this game. That's a big number, very big number. I know these teams both played a lot of overs this year, but when you get that and everybody just expects it, that's when you get. You got to remember, this game could be, 30-20 and not come close, missed by 5 points. So that's a very big number to try to chew on. And yes, tickets you mentioned, average ticket price for this game at Ford Field on Saturday night, $991, making it the most expensive non-Super Bowl NFL game on most of these secondary sites' records. So how about that? $900 to go see the Lions and the,
first
and
of
the
all, I think
Commanders
the
on Saturday
NFL
night.
has a problem, Mike, with their ticket pricing. The Super Bowl has become a non-entity for the average fan. There will be no average fans going to the Super Bowl at the Superdome. There will be none, because every single ticket is outrageous, and only the rich go to the Super Bowl. There's no more fans going to Super Bowl. It's filthy rich people that don't even care about football. They want to go to an event like that to be seen and to be noticed and to have their drip on location and everything else. I don't agree with it. I think it's horrible. I think that both teams that are in the Super Bowl should have an exorbitant amount of tickets available to their fans. They're real legitimate fans. They're season ticket holders, and they're everyday Sunday fans that go to the games, that love their teams. They're priced right out of the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is no longer for fans. It's for the rich and famous. And I think that is one of the most pathetic things that has ever happened to sports. It's the same thing. Frankly, I believe it's the same thing in all of the major sports. I mean, Morency went to the World Series. He paid through the nose to sit like 5 rows deep in the outfield. Like, are you kidding me? Like that. And I believe in 10 years, you won't even get that ticket. In 10 years, you will not get into Dodger Stadium in the right field bleachers to watch a World Series game. It's not happening. It's already right at the point where you don't get in. He got in for thousands to sit in the worst seats money can buy. Thank God he got to see his team win, because I think in the future he won't be able to.
No, it's very true. It's gotten out of control. I would even go beyond the Super Bowl. I would say even regular season games in a lot of these places have priced out the regular fan. It's tough. It's not easy.
It's bad.
With what they charge now, that's for sure. So there you go. Get your wallet out if you want to go to the Lions in Washington on Saturday night. Sunday, first game will be the Rams and the Eagles in Philadelphia after the Rams win on Monday night over the Vikings. Jalen Hurts at home in the playoffs, Scotty. Been pretty good. 3-0 against the spread, straight up, etc. Has been very good in that spot. So the Rams have a very tough chore, but this, as we discussed yesterday, a big number sitting here with 6.5 for the Rams, who have McVay and Stafford.
Yeah, to me, you said it best that, McVay is a better coach than Nick Sirianni, hands down. And then I believe, and you do as well, Stafford is just flat out better than Jalen Hurts. He's just flat out better. This guy's record in December, January, and February, 18-3, 5-1 as a playoff quarterback for the Rams, including a Super Bowl ring. I mean, you're betting against that guy with those receivers and that defense? And what, because it's going to be cold? I don't care what the temperature is. Matt Stafford, if they keep him upright, he's going to be a massive problem for the Eagles.
Yeah, the coach and the quarterback's enough for me. I'll take the 6.5. Let's go. I'm ready to rock in that spot coming up on Sunday. We'll come back, and I will give you some numbers as well on the Bills and the Ravens. The final game of the weekend, Sunday night, 6:30 in Orchard Park, where it's getting lower. I think it's going to be, as I said, it's getting like around 5 degrees is what it's going to be around kickoff at 6:30 for that game.
That is fantastic news.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.